fact that he said when we want something, and that's when that opportunists kick in. we seize the opportunity because it benefits me and not the whole group. And so I believe what God is showing us is how he places high value on oneness or unity or harmony. But it's definitely something that we have to strive for. But when we understand the purpose of the thing, and when we understand the value of the thing, I believe it prompts or it pushes us in the direction of really carrying out what's needed to fulfill it. Sometimes we don't understand the value of something or a person, and so therefore we'll treat it haphazardly, not with care. And I believe that God really is trying to redirect our focus and our attention and understanding the power of becoming one, but the benefits of it.
I want to ask a question. This is off script. What would we do if Hepzibah said no more church gatherings? Yeah. What would we do if the authorities and the laws were passed, no more church gatherings of any kind, Catholic, Christian, Hindu, whatever? What would we do?
Cross over to Augusta.
And then we'd run, right? But, go underground like they did in China, and it would bring us together. See, what you have to understand is that the birth church in the book of Acts, they were under extreme duress of their lives. See, that forced a zeal that pushed them to draw strength from each other. See what happens when the laws just kind of let you do what you want to do? You don't have no focus. And you just move around and just meander around. Oh, well, I got free. No, you're being set up. Look at how other lands are under persecution for just mentioning Jesus. Wearing a cross? Are you kidding me? Or carrying the Bible. So we really need to understand, and there will be a time when there will be no worship allowed, no public worship allowed, and it will force the church. I pray that's not in any time that we live in, but you just don't know. You don't know, because there are wicked lawmakers just like there are righteous ones. So please understand that. Let's go to Amos 3:3.
Amos 3:3. Can two walk together except they be agreed?
Can we do this real quick? Come on. Put your thing down. You ever walk with somebody and y'all start walking in the direction and you keep going that way, and then somebody get opposite? I want to go this way. No, speaking to the microphone so they can hear you.
I want to go this way.
But I want to go this way.
No, let's go this way.
So here's what we're going to do. Since we can't agree, we're going to separate. Paul and Barnabas.
Yes.
Because of a disagreement, because of Mark, and he had a moment of being scared. Barnabas was saying, yo, don't be so hard, Paul. Paul was like, he's not fit right now. Now, both of them were right. But because of that disagreement, they were walking in. Y'all know Paul and Barnabas, right? How much God used them. They were sent out in Acts 17 by the whole church, the first church. And they were walking together, and then one disagreement, and they separated. And you go walk that way, I'm going to walk this way. And it didn't stop us from existing. One disagreement is all it takes. It doesn't stop us from still living, but our potency. We have lessened our ability to impact the region because we have divided. Anybody ever take paint and you just roll it and roll it and roll it? When you know you're supposed to dip that roller again, you're trying to stretch the paint. What happens to the paint? It don't look right. So you go that way, because I know what I'm talking about. I hear from God, so I'm going to walk this way. You come on, talk to me now. You hear from God.
I hear from him too.
I hear from God too. Yeah, I'm going this way.
I fast and I pray.
I fast and pray too. And I sing. I play the keyboard.
And I read my word.
Yeah, guess what? So, but we don't.
And I'm a prophet.
So and all the while, God's sheep are like, what's wrong with them? So if they can't like sheep, like shepherd, like shepherd, like sheep, because we can't get it right and not even put the pride down, because you're really supposed to burn the pride and bury it. That's a whole other thing. Come on, sit back down, because we got more to get through. And you see how silly that looked? The divorce of ministries, not marriages. It's a lot of people. I want to pray for you right now. You have to forgive the divorce of ministry that you went through. If you went through a ministry that broke up or it just closed, you got to get clean from it. Forgive yourselves. Forgive them. This thing is not easy. It requires work, and some people weren't trained for the work. Let's continue on.
So the scripture says, how can two walk together unless they be agreed? So what does it mean to agree? And so I believe the demonstration that my husband and I just did, it spoke to disagreement. But to agree means to come together at an appointed place or time, to come together. And he also mentioned, my husband also mentioned about, coming together, the importance of that. Coming together is very important. If it wasn't important, why does the enemy fight us the way that he does? Now, that's in every area of our life. It's not just in church. We must come into agreement in our homes, in our marriages, with our children, on our jobs. You just can't go in your job and do what you want to do. But why do we?
You can try.
But why? They're going to arrest you. They will escort you out the building. But why do we think we can do whatever we want to do in the house of God? Why do we think there's no order or structure in God's house?
Imagine us coming in here at Pastor Monica's place at the Cypher Life, and we just say, "Oh, we're gonna paint the walls blue." Pastor Monica, we done bought the paint, gallons of it, the big 100-gallon gallon. We bought 10 of those. We're gonna paint the walls blue. We'll let you know when we finish. How disrespectful is that? So disrespectful.
So why do we do that? We do it like my husband just stated. To him that knoweth to do good and doeth, if not to him that is sin. Why do we do it? Why do we think that we can just come in and just redirect what God has already spoken? Why do we just come in and just say, oh, and here's another thing. See, one thing about those that were building the Tower of Babel, they were one in language, right? But sometimes we don't use our words. Sometimes it's our actions. Sometimes, you hear the phrase, your actions speak louder than words. Because we can say one thing and do another, which reflects the disharmony within us.
To that point, we have an audible voice, we have an action voice, and we have an internal voice. People hear our audible voice and they see our action voice, but they can't hear that internal voice. Anybody ever talk to anybody, your face start talking? Your eyes start. When we talk about this oneness, and my wife could read that part, it means that their action voice, their internal voice, and their audible voice were all in sync. You know how hard it is to get three things in sync at the same time? If anybody's ever played the 3 lotto number, trying to get, how many times have you really got all 3 numbers? That's how hard it is to have your internal voice, your audible voice, and your action voice all moving in the same direction in harmony. That takes discipline. Go ahead, can you read that, please?
It's a conscientious effort, intentional act by all parties. Being
in agreement.
In agreement.
It's a conscious, intentional, deliberate act by all parties.
And one of the things that I want to say, because when you go back to Amos 3:3, it says, how can two walk together except they be agreed? This really was talking about being in agreement with God. We must agree to walk with God. And we must be in agreement to walk with one another. But when we're not in agreement with God, then we can't be in agreement with people. We can't. We can't bypass one to get to the other. We must first be in agreement with God. And if we're not in agreement with God, we can never walk in agreement in any area in our life. See, sometimes we like to pick and choose. And sometimes we like to pick and choose things or relationships based on people and their personalities. And that's another thing to consider, because oftentimes if someone's personality is a little bit more stronger or softer, then we'll say, I can't walk with them. They're not like me. They don't think like me. But God is trying to take us out of the mode of self, and he's trying to thrust us forward into the corporate body or the collective body. But oftentimes we're looking at people, we're sizing them up, and we're making our own assumptions of them. And what we're doing is creating that discord from within. So where else is it going to go? It got to come out. So it's going to come out in our relationships. It's going to come out in our services. It's going to come out on our jobs. It doesn't matter. It's going to come out. But here God was saying, can two walk together unless they be agreed? He was talking, can you agree with God? God is asking for us to be one. Jesus prayed for us to be one. Can we agree with God? Can we agree with him?
And here's the unspoken thing. He's not asking us about our past. He's really not concerned about our past.
That's right.
Because when you understand lordship, you understand that his way is the way it's going to go. But because we don't live in a monarchy, we don't understand, we don't respect that model. I'm going to just tell you frank.
Right.
When you have a democracy, it means everyone has a voice. And it doesn't mean that you shouldn't have a voice. But we live under theocracy. We don't put man over God. God rules. Now here's the thing though. It requires holiness, righteousness, and all those other things, and that's where we disconnect. That's where you can tell where we start meandering off. Because holiness, righteousness don't look for stage. It really don't. It really don't. You know what it looks for? Are you okay?